our goal is to have the #1 turnaround in the country, period. Well, Davis, one thing that you will get to know about me is I'm very black and white when it comes to roles on the team.
What's up, Seahawks, and welcome back to In the Hoop, a weekly show where we'll keep you in the loop on all things UNCW basketball. I'm your host, Davis Bell, and with me today, I'm lucky to have women's basketball head coach Nicole Woods with me to talk about her career and this season. Coach Woods, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Coach, first of all, how is this year different at this time as opposed to last season now that you're in your second season?
Well, there's a lot of differences. First of all, we've got a full roster. We had 9 players, really 8 that we played with all last year. We'll have 13 this year. So that definitely helps from a standpoint of bodies. And we're just so much further along than what we were. I've got a group of returners that kind of know what's to be expected. And a lot of times they do a lot of the correcting before I even have to. I know, Davis, you said, man, sometimes you get to just be a manager. I said, yeah, you know, it's kind of nice to not have to, you know, to do everything. But we're so much further along, and we've got a stable of upperclassmen that not only know what to do, but have been there before. And so that's helped us to get a little further than now. If you ask any coach, none of us are happy right now about where we are. We got all of these things to do. We got to put this in. We got to put that in. But we're pleased with where we are so far.
That's good. Now, tell me, from a coach's perspective, what really is the preseason? Because obviously, you know, the offseason, you're building your roster, you're getting players. And, of course, in the season, you're coaching games, trying to win every game you can. What is your job in the preseason?
So preseason is where you get in shape, right? So you spent all summer building that base and conditioning, and now it's like, okay, are we in shape? If not, we've got to get in shape. And then we really start to put in things in terms of culture, as well as like the basis to like your offense, defense, things of that nature. And so every team is different every year. And so this year's team has to get used to playing with each other. Now, that's true any year, but we've got 9 new players. So 9, you know, and when you really think about that 9, because we've got 2 that are out, so we've got 9 new people that have to learn how to play. Everybody has to learn how to play together, and so that's been a big piece for us. And preseason is really laying that foundation of who we are, what we're going to do. This year we're going to play fast. Defensively, we're going to get up and pressure the ball. And, you know, we're going to compete, as you always know. And so when you change that tide compared to how we played last year, it takes a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, and a lot of mental, you know, toughness exercises and things like that to get where we're trying to go.
Yeah. Now, a few weeks ago, we had John Fanta here at UNCW. It made me a little jealous. I was a big fan of his. What was it like to get to talk to him, and just what did it mean to have such a national, well-known college basketball reporter come to UNCW?
Well, first of all, I was grateful. Grateful to have John Fanta. You should have let me know. I could have got you to assist, man. Come on.
I should have.
You should have. But, you know, to have him, not just to be here, but to spend the amount of time that he spent with us from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. He was with us between the 2 programs. And for him to do what he did, to shine a national light, not just on our amazing men's program, but on our program as well, that's on the rise. And so he was great, and he had a lot of great nuggets. He watched practice that he gave to our young ladies, and having somebody like him is big time.
Yeah. Now, moving into this roster that you've built this year, I know you and I have talked a lot about your freshmen who don't know they're freshmen. How have you seen that on the court in practice, and how do you expect to see it in the real games?
Well, my good friend Tanisha Wright, she used to always say, you can't trust freshmen. You know, she would always say that. You just can't trust them. Whatever you get from them is a bonus if you get anything good. But I do feel like that I'm going to be able to trust our freshmen. It's going to be some growing pains with learning the pace of the game, the speed of the game, when to pull it out, when to do certain things, but they bring a sense of toughness and a sense of a posture of winning, as you know, is one of our P's that's kind of infectious. And that right there and that drive to win and that drive to be great will really catapult them forward. And so Tia Dobson, you know, it's a hard job being a freshman point guard, but she's learning from one of the best in the conference in Jania Hall. And same thing with Angelina Palaio. She's got 2 fifth years that she's learning up under in Allie and Isis. And so we're expecting big things from all of them because I think they're all capable of it.
Good, good. Now, this roster is clearly full of talent. You've got your 3 leading scorers back from last year. You've got one of the best freshman classes in UNCW history. You've got the reigning CAA 6th Woman of the Year, and you've got a 4-year player from North Carolina, just to name a few. How do you see all of that fitting in on the roster in terms of playing time, shots, and just general players' expectations?
Well, Davis, one thing that you will get to know about me is I'm very black and white when it comes to roles on the team. And so we have specific roles. Another thing that preseason is for is to really assess what each player's role needs to be. And every one of them can tell you exactly what they're supposed to do every day, whether it's to be a scorer, rebounder, defender, and they can also tell you what their leadership strength is, right? To be the most positive person or be, you know, whatever it is. And so I think that's important, especially when you've got so many new people, because if not, then they're trying to figure out what their place is, what does coach want from me, what is the expectation? And not only do they know their roles, everybody on the team knows their roles. They get a sheet with everybody's role so that it makes it crystal clear of how things are supposed to be. And of course, roles can change. But I think, you know, having that structure is really going to be able to help them because we've got some players that bring some things that we really need, like three-point shooting, like players that can score on the block, you know, things of that nature, a point guard to manage the flow of the game. And so those players know exactly what they're supposed to do. And then the ones around them, they know as well. They just happy they don't have to do it most of the time, you know.
Yeah. And now one specific player I'd like to shout out that I've noticed a lot just in practice when I've seen him is someone you've mentioned before, Jania Hall. You know, she's a great player, was on 2 really good Monmouth teams. What do you see from her impacting this team?
The biggest thing, well, she brings a lot of things. But when I watch Nene, we call her Nene, when I watch Nene, she just brings a sense of confidence and just a sense of poise out there. And when you've got a point guard that's like that, she never, when you talk to her, she never gets too high, she never gets too low. She's just kind of even keeled the whole time. And when you've got a point guard that's like that, it allows the other players to play their role, but also to stay cool, calm, and collected as well. And I've seen her in practice have just some terrible days, but it's next play, you know, on to the next, you know, still does other things to be able to impact the game. And I think that alone will help our team to just kind of, you know, relax and go to the next play and be able to execute at a high level. And so she can score the ball as well, which that helps. I call her a walking bucket. She reminds me of myself as a player. So, you know, I tell them, you know, this is how you should play the game, you know, jokingly, because that's how I played. But I think the fans are going to come see her. You're going to really enjoy her.
Well, you're kind of spoiling my next question.
Okay.
But for my final question, I want you to look right into that camera there, and I want you to tell every UNCW student why women's basketball games are going to be must-see this year.
Well, first of all, we are going to play fast, and it's going to be fun. Up and down pace. We're going to press. We're going to play a lot of different players. And I really do think that we've got a team that can beat anybody in the country. Our goal is to have the #1 turnaround in the country, period. And I think you need to come and see it. People ask me all of the time, what do I expect? You know, how do I feel like the team is going to be? And I tell them to come see. So, Teal Nation, I expect you to be there. If you're not part of Teal Nation, make sure you join and get a part of Teal Nation, and we hope to see you out to pack trash.
I like it, Coach. I like it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's all we've got today. We're all very excited for women's basketball this year.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure to follow Seahawks Central Sports on Instagram and TealTV on YouTube. to stay up to date with all things UNCW hoops. I'm Davis Bell. Thanks again to Coach Woods, and we'll see y'all next time.